Nobody warns you what a solar eclipse actually costs you before it hands you something new. A door closes hard and fast. A relationship ends without warning. An offer falls through. A plan you'd built your identity around simply stops working, and it gets blamed on bad timing, when it's actually the sky forcing a decision you'd already been avoiding making for months. Here's what gets missed. A solar eclipse is a new moon on steroids, a fresh start energy so concentrated it can't just nudge you. It has to interrupt you. So it doesn't create the ending. It exposes one that was already true, one you'd been quietly managing around instead of facing, and forces it into the open on its own schedule instead of yours. Most people only notice the eclipse itself, the dramatic headline event, and completely miss that the real work happens in the weeks before and after, when the situation it's about to disrupt has usually already been sending smaller warning signs. Left unrecognized, this turns eclipse season into something people brace for instead of use. They go quiet, avoid signing anything, avoid hard conversations, treat the whole window as bad luck to survive, and in doing that, they miss the actual signal underneath it, the exact area of life that's been asking for a decision, now impossible to keep postponing. The irony is that bracing for chaos usually guarantees a rougher landing than acting would have, because the postponed decision doesn't go away, it just waits for a moment you don't get to pick. Comment which house of your chart you think a recent eclipse fell in, or just tell me what changed suddenly and out of nowhere in your life recently, and I'll tell you what it was actually clearing space for. The fix starts with reframing the closed door. A solar eclipse doesn't take something away out of cruelty. It removes whatever you'd already outgrown but kept anyway out of habit or fear. Once you can name the thing that ended as something you'd stopped truly wanting, the loss stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like release. Ask yourself honestly how long you'd already known, in some quiet corner, that the thing which just ended wasn't going to last. The eclipse rarely surprises the part of you that pays attention. Then look for the opening hiding inside the closing. Eclipses rarely take without also handing you a door you hadn't noticed was there, a conversation you'd never have started, a version of yourself the old situation was blocking. Write down the decision you'd been avoiding before the eclipse forced it, and you'll usually find the new path was already visible, just uncomfortable to choose voluntarily. Give yourself a short, deliberate window, a weekend, a week, to actually look at that new path on purpose instead of letting shock keep you staring at what just closed. A woman I'll call Renata had spent 3 years in a business partnership that quietly drained her, telling herself it was too complicated to unwind, too tangled in contracts and shared clients to touch without causing a mess. A solar eclipse fell across her career house the same week her partner announced he was leaving the business entirely. No warning, no negotiation. She spent one panicked weekend grieving the sudden collapse before realizing, once the shock wore off, that she'd been hoping for exactly this exit for over a year. Renata didn't lose her business that week. She lost the version of it she'd already quietly resented and inherited full ownership of the one part she'd actually loved building. That's the entire shift, from experiencing a solar eclipse as something happening to you, to recognizing it as the moment a decision you'd been avoiding finally got made for you, in your favor. If this just explained a sudden ending you're still trying to make sense of, like this video. Comment what changed out of nowhere recently, and I'll tell you what door it was actually opening. This is Shadow Work, the series that names what's actually underneath a pattern, not just the surface trait everyone already knows. Subscribe if today's episode explains something the headlines about eclipses never could.